Imagine living in a world where every day could be your last. Cities were burning, millions of soldiers were fighting across continents, and the fate of the world hung by a fragile thread. During World War II, one hidden weapon changed the course of the entire war. It wasn't a massive bomb, it wasn't a powerful tank, and it wasn't a deadly fighter plane. It was something far less visible, yet incredibly powerful. It was intelligence, and the story of how a secret code was broken, helping to save millions of lives and ultimately changing the future of the world. In the early 1930s, Nazi Germany created a powerful encryption device known as the Enigma machine. At first glance, it looked harmless, almost like a normal typewriter. But hidden inside was a system so complex that many believed it could never be broken. Every time a letter was typed into the Enigma machine, it transformed into another letter. Inside the machine were rotating wheels called rotors, and each time a key was pressed, the entire encryption system shifted. The result was a constantly changing code. The number of possible combinations was not in the thousands, not even in the millions, but in the billions. And to make things even more difficult, German operators changed the machine's settings every single day. To the German military, the Enigma machine was their ultimate secret weapon. They believed it made their communications completely secure. The German Army used it. The German Air Force used it, and most importantly, the German Navy used it to coordinate their deadly submarines known as U-boats. Across the Atlantic Ocean, these submarines hunted Allied ships carrying food, weapons, and vital supplies to Europe. This brutal struggle became known as the Battle of the Atlantic. For the sailors aboard those ships, the ocean was no longer just water. It was a battlefield. Convoys traveled through icy storms and endless darkness, always knowing that somewhere beneath the waves a German submarine might be waiting. And when the attack came, it was sudden and terrifying. A torpedo would strike. An explosion would rip through the ship. Flames would rise into the night sky while sailors struggled to survive in the freezing ocean. Entire convoys vanished into the depths of the Atlantic. At times, it seemed like the Allies were slowly losing control of the sea. If the supply lines from North America collapsed, Britain could starve. The entire war effort could fail. But far away from the front lines, in the quiet English countryside, a secret battle was being fought. In a large estate known as Bletchley Park, thousands of brilliant minds were working in complete secrecy. Mathematicians, engineers, linguists, and puzzle experts had been brought together with one impossible mission: break the Enigma code. Among them was a young mathematician named Alan Turing. Turing was not a soldier in the traditional sense. He didn't carry a weapon, and he didn't fight on the battlefield, but his mind was one of the most powerful weapons the Allies possessed. Quiet, brilliant, and deeply determined, Turing believed that the Enigma machine could be defeated. Instead of trying to solve each coded message by hand, he imagined something revolutionary, a machine that could think faster than humans, a machine capable of testing thousands of code combinations every minute. With the help of engineers and fellow code breakers, Turing helped design a powerful electromechanical device called the bomb. The bomb worked tirelessly, searching through endless possibilities to uncover the daily Enigma settings. Every morning, the German military changed their codes. And every morning, the code breakers at Bletchley Park had to break them again. It was a relentless race against time. Sometimes it took hours. Sometimes it took longer, but slowly the impossible began to happen. The Enigma code was being broken. For the first time in the war, the Allies could secretly read German military messages. This intelligence operation became one of the greatest secrets of the war. Suddenly, the Allies could see the enemy's plans. They could locate German submarines hiding in the Atlantic. They could anticipate attacks before they happened. They could redirect ships away from deadly ambushes. Convoys that once sailed blindly into danger could now be guided to safety. But this secret came with a terrible burden. If Germany ever discovered that their code had been broken, they would immediately change the system, and the advantage would disappear. So sometimes the Allies had to make heartbreaking decisions. They had to allow certain attacks to happen, simply to protect the secret. Lives were lost in silence, all to ensure that the greater war could be won. It was a painful reminder that even intelligence victories carried a heavy human cost. Yet over time, the impact of breaking the Enigma code began to change the war. In the Battle of the Atlantic, Allied forces started gaining the upper hand. German U-boats that once dominated the ocean were now being hunted down. Convoys reached Europe safely. The vital lifeline between North America and Britain remained open. But the influence of this secret intelligence went far beyond the Atlantic Ocean. The information gathered from Enigma also helped the Allies plan some of the most important operations of the war. One of the most significant was the preparation for the massive invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe. This invasion would later become known as D-Day. By reading secret German communications, Allied commanders were able to understand enemy defenses, troop movements, and strategic weaknesses. This knowledge allowed them to carefully plan one of the largest military operations in human history. On June 6, 1944, thousands of ships crossed the English Channel, carrying Allied soldiers toward the beaches of Normandy. It was the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. And while thousands of brave soldiers fought and sacrificed their lives on those beaches, the hidden intelligence war had already played a crucial role in making the invasion possible. Historians now believe that breaking the Enigma code shortened World War II by at least 2 years. 2 years! Think about what that means. 2 fewer years of bombings, 2 fewer years of battles, 2 fewer years of unimaginable suffering. Millions of lives may have been saved because of the work done in secret rooms filled with machines, wires, and brilliant minds. When the war finally ended in 1945, the truth about Enigma remained hidden. For decades, the world never knew how close the Allies had come to reading Germany's most guarded secrets. The codebreakers returned to their normal lives, unable to tell anyone what they had done. Many of them carried the secret with them for the rest of their lives. Among them was Alan Turing. Despite his extraordinary contribution to the war effort and to the birth of modern computing, Turing's life after the war was filled with hardship. Yet today, he is recognized as one of the most important figures in the history of science and technology. His ideas helped shape the computers we use today. From smartphones to the internet, much of our modern digital world can trace its roots back to the brilliant minds who once worked at Bletchley Park. Today, historians consider the breaking of the Enigma code to be one of the most important intelligence victories in human history. It reminds us that wars are not won only by weapons and armies. Sometimes they are won by ideas, by courage, by determination, and by the quiet brilliance of people working behind the scenes. The Enigma machine was meant to protect Germany's secrets. Instead, breaking its code helped change the course of World War II, and in doing so, it helped shape the world we live in today.